Okay, the review here, multi-digit numbers, factors, and multiples. This leads into an interim. And for this first one, we will take 54 and 63, and we need the GCF. Uh, 54 and 60. So GCF is greatest common factors. So the factors of 54 are the numbers that multiply to get you 54, like 1 and 54. I know off the top of my head. And what, 9 times 6? So I'll write 9 times 6. Those are factors as well. And I think 3 does too. So 3 times, I'm trying to put them in order from left to right. 3 times, what, 24, 18, 3 times 18, I think. So 3 times 18 must be 54. And I can't think of any others. The factors of 63 are 1 and 63. And I can multiply 3 times 21. I could do that too. And then 9 times 7. 9 times 7. And the greatest common factor is the biggest number that divides both of them. And it looks like 9 is the biggest number in both of these lists. So I believe 9 would be this number that goes outside. And then what we need is, well, we have to divide 54 by each of those. So 50, 9 by each of them, I mean. So 54 divided by 9, that is 6. And so 6 would go right here, 6. And then plus, and then I'll take the 63 and divide it by 9, and that is 7. And bring that over here, 6 plus 7. And just making sure 9 times 6 is 54, 9 times 7 is 63, and we should be good. So I'll check this, submit all parts, and yeah, it is. Okay, GCF of 42 and 35. Now, I went through a long process in the other one, but I'm thinking uh, 7 divides 42, and 7 also divides 35. Is there a bigger number than 7? And I can't think of one. So 7 is the number that goes on the outside. 7. And then what I have to do is I have to take 42 divided by 7, and that is 6, and 35 divided by 7, and that is 5. So then this in oh I cleared it on accident. That would be what, the 6 and 5 were those two numbers. And this is right because 7 times 6 is 42 and 7 times 5 is 35. And that should be correct. And it is. Okay, make a list of factors of each number. It really just find the greatest common factor. So I'll list them. So we have 81. The factors are 1 and 81. And I know that 9 times 9 is 81. 3? 3 will. 3 times, I think it's 27. 27. Um, it could be. Yeah, I think 3 times 27. And then for 90, all I can think of is 1 and 90. I know uh, 10 and 9 are, but it's pretty apparent right now that 9 is the biggest number in both lists. And so 9 must be the GCF. Okay. Next, the least common multiple of 9 and 8. So 9 and 8. Uh, the multiples of 9, oh my God. It's going to be, um, what, it's what, 9, 27. Oh, 18 is in between that, 27. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. But I know that 72 gets over here. And then for 8, 8, 16, 24, blah, blah, blah. And I know 72 is there because 9 times 8 is 72. And sometimes that is the least common multiple, especially when numbers are right next to each other. That's usually going to be the least common multiples when you multiply them. So in this case, it's 72, the smallest number in both lists, least common multiple. And okay, so we got to divide this by 0.25. So 0.25 going into 1.325. Move this twice. And so the decimal is going to go right up here. Will 25 go into 1? No, not into 13, but into 132, yeah. And I think that's 5 times, because 5 times 25 is 125. And this ends up being 7 and 5. 25 goes into 75 3 times. So I think the answer is 5.3. And I'll put 5.3 in here, and we're good. Next, we have 2.32 times 0.61, and 2 times, well, this is just going to be 232, right? Because you multiply 1 by everything. And then on the second row, that needs a 0, and it pushes everything to the left. So 6 times 2 is 12. I'll write 12 like that. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 1 is 19. Carry the 1. And 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. I have to add these up now, and that ends up being 2, 5, 11, 4, 1. And then you got to do all your swoops, right? Oops, move this up. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this ends up being 1.4, oops, 1.4152. I'll put that up here. 1.4152. All right. Next. There's, it's like my last name. I spent $18.85 on peanuts. He bought 2.6 pounds of them. How much does 1 pound of peanuts cost? So that means it's going to be 18.85 divided by 2.6. So you move it one time. This is right here. 26 doesn't go into 1 or 18, but it does go into 188. I think probably 8 times. So I'll just do it over here. 26 times 8 is 8, 4, 16, 20. Nope. 26 times 7. That's 2, 482. Oh, there you go. So it's 7 times 182. So that's 6, and then this is 5. Ooh, wow, 65. That goes in 2 times. So that's 12, 52. That is 1, 3, and then we got to bring down a 0. 130. I'm thinking 5. 26 times 5. So it's 0, 3. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, 13. So that's 130. So times 5 is 130. And we have no remainder. So there we go. 7.25 is going to be my answer. Oops. 7.25. Great. Next. Let's see where we're at here. We have we have 7 out of 19. So this one is going to be 31.4 and 52.54. Making sure that you line up your decimals. 4938. I think that's what our answer is going to be. 83. Oops, 83.94. Okay. Next. So we got to line up our decimals on this one. And you have to know that there's a decimal after the 25 right there. So that's minus 12.51. And this is 49, I believe. And then this has to be a 4 minus 2 is 2. And that's 12.49. 12.49. Super. Rolling right through. Hector has 6.5 feet of wire. He uses that much. How much wire does he have left? That means it's going to be subtraction. 6 and 1/6 minus 2 2/3. Um, Here I brought this up because I'm going to do it this way. I need a common denominator, which is going to be 6, and this is going to be 1/6 because this whole thing's times 1, but 3 times 2 is 6, so 2 times 2 is 4, and we have a problem because we can't do 1 minus 4. We can do 6 minus 2, but we can't do 1 minus 4. So we have to borrow. And I strike this and make it 5, and then I add 6 plus 1 and make that 7. And now I can subtract going down. 7 minus 4 is 3 out of 6. 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 and 3/6 is the same thing as 3 and 1/2. And that will be our answer here. 3 and 1/2. Okay. Um, for this one, 3 into 5 divided by 1/4. That means that this has to be 15/16. This has to be 17/5, right? You multiply 5 times 3 and then add 2. That's 17/5 times the reciprocal, 4/1. I can't cross cancel anything, so I'm going to have to do 17 times 4, 34, 68. So this is 68 over 5. And 5 goes into 6 one time, 18, 3. Ooh. All right. I was interrupted in the last version, so I'm going to redo this. So we have 3 and 2/5, which 3 and 2/5. That's the same thing as what? 15. That's 17/5. So 17/5. And that's divided by 1/4. Well, if I divide by 1/4, the same thing as times 4/1 because you have to multiply by the reciprocal. 17 times 4, that's 17 times 2 is 34. Wait, yeah, 17 times 2 is 34, 68. So this is 68 divided by 5, and that goes in one time. That's 3 times. That's 13 and 3/5, I think, right? That goes 1, 18, 3, and 3 times. Okay, so let's try um, 13, 13 and 3/5. Great. Next, we have a pitcher 7/9 full of juice. Let's see. And a serving is that how many servings are in the pitcher? So it's how many 1/18s fit into 7/9. So 7/9 divided by 1/18. That's 7/9 times 18 over 1. 1 and 2, that's 14 over 1, which is 14. Okay, so 14 should work in here. Next, what's the maximum number of number of 1/25ths? So this is a question. If it's 6/7 yard of ribbon, and the maximum number is that how many 1/21st fit into 6/7? So that's 6/7 divided by 1/21st. So that's 6/7 times 21 over 1. And nicely we can cross cancel. Divide these both by 7. And 6 times 3 is 18 over 1, which is 18. So this should be 18. And what's the GCF of 90 and 80? Well, 90 and 80. 90 and 80. The factors, well, I know this is what? 1 times 90, 2 times 45. That's 3 times 30. But it's also 9 times 10. And I'm thinking here, this also has 8 times 10. And off the top of my head, I can't think of a factor that's bigger than 10. It's going to be in both lists. So the greatest common factor is going to be 10. On this one, dividing 0.07 going into 0.154. You got to move this decimal 2 times to the left. So that goes right there. 7 won't go into 0. It won't go into 1, but it'll go into 15 2 times. And 2 times 7 is 14. Subtract, that's 14. And 7 goes into 14 once again, 2 times. So it should be 2.2. 5.385. Line up your decimals, 3.58 and 2.8. And you can put zeros here if you want. And this ends up being 5. This was 8 plus 8 is 16. This is 4 and 8 is 12. 12 plus 5 is 17. And that's 6 and 3 is 9, 10, 11. So I think it's this. 11.765. Okay, next one. Okay, this one's really easy. 66,608 divided by 1,000. Um, if you divide by 1,000, then, okay, first off, if you divide, you have to move the decimal to the left. And since we're divided by 1,000, oh my God, since we're divided by 1,000, that's 3 zeros. You have to move the decimals to the left 3 times. So here's that decimal. It's actually to the right of 8. And it's 1, 2, 3 times right there. So it should be 66.608. That would be our answer. So here I have 66.608. And there it is. So we need to find the greatest common factor and the least common multiple. So the greatest common factor of 72 and 40. I'm thinking of the factors of both of them. What are the factors of 72? What divides 72 and also divides, I think it might be 4. Because half of 72 is 36. So that means it would be 2 times 36. And so if I double that 4, I take half of 36, and that'd be 18. I think 4 times 18 is 72. And then if I do this, I know that that's 4 times 10. And it's also 2 times 20 and so on. But I think 4 is probably our greatest common factor right there. Without listing all of them, I can't think of something that's I also know this is 9 times 8. 9 times 8. Oh, oh my God. Look at that. 9 times 8. 8 is a factor of 40. 5 times 8 is also 40. So, oh boy, I dodged a bullet on that one. So 8 looks like that's going to be the biggest one. And so the GCF is 8. And then when I have the least common multiple of 12 and 8, I'll do that in blue. So 12 and 8 multiples of 12 are 12, because 12 times 1 and 12 times 2. And it looks like that's already it, because 8 times 1, 8 times 2, 8 times 3 is, oops, 24. 8 times 3 is 24. So 24 has to be that least common multiple for those two. So 24. There we go. And that's it. We're all done. All right. Yay.